After 18 years of searching for my biological father, I was finally sitting across from a woman who might be my aunt. And what she told me next changed everything. After Athena sat down at the table, I took a deep breath. Because I knew what I was about to say could change everything. I looked at her and said, "My mom used to work for you at a restaurant in the 1980s called The Castle. Her name was Anna Jackson. Do you remember her?" She looked down at her hands for a moment. Then she looked back up at me and said, "Yes, I remember her." And in that moment, I felt something shift. Then I said, "My mom passed away a few months ago. And when I was younger, she told me that the chef at the castle was my father." I paused for a moment, trying to stay composed. "I'm not here to cause any problems, and I don't want anything from anyone. I was just hoping that if he's still alive, maybe we could talk. I'm just looking for some closure." She looked down again, quiet for a moment. Then she said something I will never forget. "You know, I always wondered what happened with that." She explained that years ago, her brother had come home and told her that my mom was pregnant. But he wasn't sure if the baby was his. And after that, it was never really talked about again. Hearing that didn't hurt me. I already understood that my mom and my father hadn't been in a committed relationship. And I also understood what times were like back then. He was the youngest of 5 siblings. They were a traditional Greek family. All his siblings were married to Greeks and had children. So for him to go home and say that he had gotten a waitress who wasn't Greek pregnant, it probably wasn't something that would have been easily accepted. Then she told me something that completely shocked me. She said her brother had retired at 55 years old, and that he was living in Panama. She also told me that they shared the same birthday, January 10th, and that he'd just left to go back home the week before I arrived at the restaurant. We sat there talking for over an hour. We shared stories. We asked questions. At one point, we stood up, hugged each other, and both started crying. She looked at me and said, "I really hope you're his daughter. He's never been married, and he's never had any children." Before I left, we took a picture together, and I gave her my phone number. And I don't even know how to fully describe the way I felt in that moment. The excitement, the disbelief, the overwhelming sense that everything was finally coming together after 18 years of searching, with almost no information, no real leads, and without ever using a private investigator. I had somehow made it this far, and the timing of it all felt unbelievable. This was happening just 3 months after my mom had passed away, and I couldn't help but feel like maybe she had something to do with it. Like maybe she was up there, making things happen. Because everything that had unfolded felt too perfectly timed to just be a coincidence. That night, I went home feeling like I was on the edge of something life-changing. But there was still one question left. Would he call? Friday night turned into Saturday. Saturday turned into Sunday. And with every day that passed, I started wondering, was this really going to happen? Or had I come this far just to be left without an answer again? Then on Monday, my phone rang. The number on the screen looked unfamiliar, and for a split second, I almost didn't answer, but something told me I needed to. I picked up the phone and said hello, and the voice on the other end said,
"Hello, Amanda. This is Nico, calling you from Panama."
In that moment, everything stopped. I couldn't speak. I had waited almost my entire life to hear those words, and now he was on the other end of the phone. And the first thing he said to me was,
"I'd like to meet you."
"Like and subscribe to my channel to keep following along."